guys like and subscribe to our channel.
Hi, this is Adam with AG4VR, and today I'm going to be replacing the thumbstick, basically the electronic switch at the bottom of this. I'm going to be replacing this today, and you wouldn't believe how much you have to do to replace that. So I'm going to be doing that today, and maybe it'll help somebody else out that needs to have that done, because it's a pretty common problem, particularly with the left hand side. I actually yesterday replaced the left hand side one. This is going to be the right hand side one because I'm having some issues with this one also. But luckily, the most of these kits come with two, and I think I might have spent maybe $15 on Amazon for two switches and all the tools to do it. So here we go. Without further ado, we're going to start replacing that switch up under that button. Hope you enjoy it. Alright, so first thing, get your battery cover off. Take your battery out. Just kind of take those and set them off to the side over there somewhere. The next thing you need to do, you need to get this cover here off. This kind of black charcoal colored cover. If you've seen my video where we clean that switch with electronics contact cleaner, I think I covered that in that one. But the kit that I got came with this, and I think this is supposed to help you. You can basically take this and like stick it under here and kind of get up under, like break the adhesive. But with mine, I've had mine off so many times, it's gonna come right off. So I'm just gonna take this little spudge tool here and just give it a little twist, and it should pop right off. Just don't go crazy with it because there's little tabs and things that could potentially break. So you want to take it off kind of easy, just kind of give it a slight little pry straight up, get it loose, and then you'll see that it'll come off. The hole is just a tiny bit bigger than the thumbstick. So I don't know, yeah. So just lift it out. Take that, set it off to the side, and now we're down to everything in here. This you can pull right off. Well, I was just a little stubborn, but just pull on it. Boom, there it is. It's out. I'm inspecting it because mine actually cracked a couple days ago, and I used some Permabond to glue it back together, and I thought that was the source of my problems with this one, but I was still having issues after that, particularly with turning. What's happening is that sometimes when I'm making a left turn, it just keeps wanting to turn, and then I have to go to the right with the stick, and then that makes it stop turning. So I mean, it's not a horrible problem, but like, hey, I've got the switch, I can do it. It's time consuming. A lot more to it than I anticipated. So this is, I'll get this out so you can see it. This is the replacement switch, and you can see it's got a tiny little flex cable that goes to it. So that is what I'm going to be putting in that controller. So set these off to the side, and we'll move on to the next thing. So you might have seen in my I did a video where I replaced the screen on an iPhone. I like to lay out my screws in a certain pattern, and with this thing there are different length screws. So what I'm going to do first is, I don't know if you can see, I'm going to take this screw out and this screw out. Those two screws are the same length. It's a little tricky because they're kind of angled. They're angled in a way that you have to come inside the ring to take them off. So be careful while you're doing this. Be careful not to put too much force on anything, as you might damage the ring. You don't want to damage the ring because that's what your VR headset uses to figure out where your controller is and orientation and all that stuff. So yeah, don't mess with your ring. These screws are a little bit stiff getting them out. Once you start cranking them out, they loosen up. See, there's the screw right there. I'm gonna take it, I'm gonna put it up here. I'm gonna keep both of those screws together. I like to put them in a place where I'm not gonna knock into them while I'm working on this. So yeah, I was very happy with my results yesterday. I was scared to death that I was going to get this thing all back together and something wasn't going to work, because you got all these tiny little flex cables you got to plug in and stuff, and I swear sometimes you can't tell if it's got a good connection or not, and you really can't test it until you get it all back together and try it. And you know, you probably will end up in a situation where excuse me, that you have to tear it all apart again. And yeah, you definitely don't want to do that. Okay, so now we're going to take, basically, you'll notice that there's screws that are pointed kind of downward. Those are all the ones that we're taking out right now. So there's another one, I don't know if you can see right there. That's what I'm taking out at this moment. Yeah, and speaking of the ring, we are actually going to take part of the ring off. The outer part of the ring is going to come completely off. So if you guys have never seen that, it'll trip you out. It really tripped me out because I was scared to death that I was going to damage it. I have actually never taken one of these. I've never taken a VR controller apart before. I've taken other stuff apart, but I've never taken one of those. I'm going to get my handy dandy tweezers here. Came with the kit also. And there we go. Oh, no, thought I had it. Okay, got it. Alright, so that one is a little bit longer. So I set that over here. Alright, so I'm going to take this one out. See? That one. Yeah, it feels weird because sometimes you kind of have to put a little force down. Just to get it turning. Yeah, I was a little disappointed this morning because I had a really good working left thumbstick, and the right one was good at first, and then it started acting up. I just about a week ago started playing Hubris, and Hubris has you click your thumbsticks a good bit, because your right side one, the one that I'm replacing right now, you have to click it every time you want to reload. So, and the combat's intense in that. So, okay, so I got that one out. I'm gonna put it here. Okay. All right. So what we're gonna do now is we've actually, as I was talking about before, we're gonna take this ring off. So, all right. So there's a little square right here. Don't know if you can see it, but yeah, it's right there. Sorry. And you gotta push on that square. You'll see these start bulging outward. Alright. So you're gonna have one side that has the square, one side that does not. You want to start removing this on the side that doesn't have the square. And then you just kind of pops loose. This one's actually not bad to get off. All right, so yeah, and as you can see, there's some adhesive that's trying to hold on there. It's all right though. The way that it's on there holds pretty good, even with the adhesive. Sometimes while you're prying it off, sometimes the little square will go back into its square place. For, I didn't want to say hole because I mean a square doesn't fit in a hole; it fits in a square. So, yeah. So I'm trying to get this out without it popping back, and it keeps popping back in. So that's okay. So yeah, it's tricky. Just try to do it best you can. Try not to mess with the stuff that's on the inside too much. Once you get this off, you won't have to deal with that very much. I wish there was a way to do this without taking all this off, but unfortunately, this is how it is. So this one's being a little difficult. Where's my little spudge tool? Yeah, today is a Saturday and I've just felt lazy as anything, and I wanted to do this hours ago, but I started watching Pluto TV and it just makes me lazy as anything. Anyway, there we go. Yeah, you gotta mess around with it. So there is the ring. There is the ring. Take it, put it off to the side. Alright, so we got more screws to take out. Alright, so we're gonna take out, we got a screw there, screw there, a screw there, a screw there, and a screw there. So there's like 5 total screws. These 3 screws right here, and that's basically like 11 o'clock. Not like as far as the degrees from the controller, it's like 11 o'clock. Then you got one at like, that's probably like 2 o'clock, and that's probably like 1 o'clock, and that's like 3 o'clock. Those are the same size, so you want to keep those together. So we'll take those out. See which one I'm taking out. The one that's at 11 o'clock. These are a little bit easier to take out because they're not facing toward the ring. They're facing, because them other ones they basically help hold the ring together. That's why you have to take those out first and then take the ring off and then go after these. Sorry. All right. Drop my tool. All right, so now I'm going after this one that's in like the 1 to 2 o'clock position. Alright, so yeah, they are little tiny screws, so don't lose them. That's why I work with this mat up here. I actually had one that I lost yesterday, and I was lucky enough that it had fallen on my chair, and I was able to recover it. They get in your carpet, they're like gone forever. Alright, so now I'm going after the one that's basically at the 3 o'clock position. And these three screws can stay together. Alright, so that one. Alright, so that's those three. Alright, now there is one here. That's a little bit longer screw. So that one's basically at like probably 5 o'clock. Alright, yeah, see how long that one is? This one out will actually come in handy later, and I'll tell you why when we get there. I got some pretty good use out of it for one particular task. Alright, so there's a black screw here. And I was just thinking, I don't know if this procedure, I don't know if it'd be any good to use on the Quest 3. I'd imagine that there are similarities in the construction, but I don't know if screw placement and all that's going to be the same. So, alright, so I've got all those screws out. Alright, so now we got a label in here that we have to take out because there's screws up behind this label. So I'm just going to take this spudge and just try to scrape that label out of there. Don't worry if you lose it, unless this is under warranty or something. Of course, if it's under warranty, you would be doing this anyway. But you just want to scrape that sucker out, get it out best you can. And I just wanted to say real quick, if you made it this far into my video, I appreciate you watching it. I don't make anything off these videos. I don't get any advertising revenue. You know, we're a small channel, and I mostly do this for fun. But I you know, I hope that I can help people out. It's nice to get views and subscribers and all that stuff. And of course, if you do enjoy this video, it would be nice if you did subscribe, leave a like or a comment or anything. I'd really appreciate it. Alright, so the label is out. And we got 3 screws to take out here. So let's get these out. This is actually going a lot faster today than it did yesterday. Yesterday I'd never done it before, and I ran into problems. In particular, the guide that I was using did not tell me to take out one of the screws. So I was having some trouble with that, and I actually probably would have broken my controller if I hadn't figured out that I did need to take out one more screw than they were telling me to take out. So I'm going to add that into mine, and to be honest with you, it was the iFixit guide, which is very good, except for it leaves out removing one of the screws, and I'm about to show you which one. Alright, so that's the 3 screws that I just pointed out. There's one more, and it's right here. you have to take that screw out. It does not mention it in the instructions. I've been up and down these instructions. I even watched another YouTube video, and the video I watched did not mention this, but yeah, take that screw out. It does not hurt a thing to take the screw out, so there's no reason to leave it in, and it actually holds part of it together that you're trying to get apart. So, alright, so there's the screw. Put it to the side right there. Oh, it's about the same size as the others, but I've got a rhyme and a reason to how I do this. I like to lay things out in a certain order so that it simplifies me getting it back together. So, alright, so, and I will say, you're gonna see like crud build up and stuff that's built up over time. I've had this Quest for like 2 years, this Quest 2. And there, you know, and this is mostly just because none of this stuff is exposed until you start taking it apart like this. So, all right. So next, we are going to oh, you know what? I almost forgot. You need to take the wrist strap off. All right, and then you just kind of pull back on, yeah, and it just kind of pops off. This was what I had a lot of trouble with before I figured out that you had to take that last screw out. Yeah, I was going nuts. I could not get this thing off for anything, and I kept double checking the directions, and then finally I was just like, you know what? I don't care. I'd much rather take out a screw that I wasn't supposed to than to break this thing. And it turned out that was a great decision because that was exactly what I needed to do. So yeah, that's why I'm mentioning that so much here, because maybe it will save you some headache and heartache and all that stuff. So I'm gonna take this piece, well, I was kind of cleaning it up a little bit, crud off, you know. You can be the cleanest person in the world and you're gonna leave crud on your controller. I mean, you know, I've done workouts and all kinds of stuff, so you know, I've probably sweated all over these things and all kinds of stuff. And I'm not ashamed to admit that because these are great workout tools. All right, so as you see, this part's off, which is basically what goes around the grip. I'm gonna clean that grip a little bit too, so bear with me. Most of the crap scrapes off. Alright, so next we're going to remove this side. So, and this part is a little bit trickier. I'm trying to remember, because it's kind of tight fitting where it is. Yeah, you can kind of pull it away from the trigger. Because I'll tell you, when you look at it at first, it's gonna look to you like you need to take the trigger off first, but there's no possible way to take the trigger off without taking this piece off. So you've got to get this piece off first before you deal with the trigger. So, all right. Yeah, and it's tricky. It really is. You kind of have to work it off of there. It's that a lot of things on this thing are that way. You kind of have to work things apart. There we go. All right, so as you can see, it's coming apart. it popped loose right here. And now, and since I had already kind of worked that loose, now it's starting to come, it's starting to pull away. So just keep working it off of there best you can. Oh, come on, come on. Oh. You know what? I just realized what I'm doing. There we go. There we go. Got that piece off. That's what you got to do. You don't want to pull this part off too fast because I'll show you why. This circuit board here, we call it a PCB. Anyway, this PCB is basically your charging circuit. And you've got a ribbon cable that goes up to the main board. This is your main board for your controller. So what I would advise at this point, and I hope you can see, yeah, I know this is hard to see and I apologize for that. I wish I had better lighting. Actually, I can get better lighting. Hold on. Alright. Yeah, you can see where the ribbon cable goes up. There's a little black tab on the back side. Yeah, let's see if I can. Alright, so there's a little black tab right here. And you flip it up. So I'm going to use the edge of the tweezers, and you can see where I just flipped it up. So it's just this little part right. I wish I could hold the phone and hold the controller at the same time. But yeah, basically that releases it, and you can take the flex cable loose. So that's where I took the flex cable loose. Take that, set it off to the side, just like everything else. And now you are left with this piece. So now we've got to take this trigger off. So as I've been doing with all the other stuff, let me clean some of my crud off of here. Alright. Alright, so I take the tool, and you can push from one side to the other. It's basically just a pin that's held in with friction. So don't know if you can. Yeah, it gets a little overexposed, I guess, but yeah, it's hard. Yeah, you can sort of see the pin right there. Right here is where that pin is. And just take your tool, push it, push that pin through. Oh crap. Yeah, that was not what I was trying to do there. Alright, now take your little screw. That's what I was telling you. You can take this screw and push it through there and get it the rest of the way. Take your tweezers, pull the screw out, put it back over there. And there it goes. The trigger just popped off. Take your trigger, set it off to the side. You'll see there's some springs right here, and in a little bit just make a mental note or take a picture or something as to how that's on there, because this will probably pop off during a later part of this, so just be aware. Alright, moving on. Okay, so I think I just discovered that this piece can come loose from the rest, so when I'm putting this back together, I'm gonna have to line this all up like it's supposed to be, but it's all good. I work on electronics for a living, so I'm kind of used to doing this kind of work. Ah, there we go. It's nice and lined up. I didn't have this problem yesterday, but it's all good. Yeah, and take your little pin that came out for the trigger, set it over here, probably next to the trigger would be good. Alright, now we are going to disconnect all the little connectors on the control board. So this one actually popped out on its own, and it's not damaged or anything. It's just with any of these, this lever is basically putting friction on the flex cable to hold it in on all these connectors, and so you know, if you put enough force on them, they'll pop loose, which is a good thing, because you'd rather them pop loose than to break, because these flex cables can break very, very easily. So be careful. Alright, so let's do this. And in fact, the first one I needed to take loose was that one. I tell you what, let's do this. I'm gonna place this one back in. We'll make this, we gotta make this a proper video, right? So, alright, so yeah, I've actually just popped back in the flex cable. So let's do this. I don't know if you, I'm hoping you can see. Take your tweezers, this little lever right there. It's just like the one earlier that we popped loose right there. That's where the battery, basically the charging circuit, is basically where it hooked in right there. So we're going to do the same thing here. We're going to flip up this lever, and then just pull it back, and you can see that's the end of the cable. You see there's a white line on there. You'll see that on all these cables. That means that it's basically like an eyeball guide for when you're putting these back in. You want the it needs to be inserted into, and I'll show you, inserted into the connector until the white line is up against the connector, and that's how you know that it's in there connected right. So just be mindful of that. So we're going to disconnect that. We're going to flip this little lever up and disconnect that, and then we got one here. This is actually the bottom side. You might recognize this. This is the bottom side, because we looked at it earlier. Bottom side of that thumbstick, basically the electronic switch. So I've got the levers flipped up, and this one's a little tiny one, so you know, this one had me more nervous than anything. But if you just get your tweezers on it and just work it out, there we go, and it popped out. That one I don't think has a white line on it because it's sort of translucent, but there is sort of a mark on there. So yeah, you're going to be getting that one back in best you can. And then we're going to take the antenna loose. So this is the antenna. This is the antenna connection that goes up to the ring that communicates with the headset. So just take your tweezers, get it under one side, under the bottom side of that cable right there. I don't know if you can see that. Just get it up under, just like that. Close your tweezers and then work it loose. Oh, that's a little better. Just like, yeah, it's a little tricky. I always feel like I'm gonna break these every time I do it, but they never break. They're if you've ever connected, yeah, and it'll pop loose here too. This is just like a it basically is a tiny little metal clamp. So when you pop this loose, it'll pop loose from there too. That's completely normal and nothing's broken. So you might recognize the antenna. It looks a lot like what you'd find on a Wi-Fi card in a laptop. It's basically the exact same connection, which is good because they're actually like stupid simple to connect. So, all right. So we got all that loose. Now, you will notice, get a little light on this, there's some black screws on that circuit board. There's one here, there's one here, and there's one here, and there's one there. There's 4. Alright, and they are all the same size. So when you take these out, you can just group them all together. So I'm going to take these out, starting with the topmost one right here, and you'll notice everything is a T5 on here. So the only screwdriver tool that you need is a T5, and I recommend a little short, stubby one like this. Works great. If you use one that's got a long handle, you're gonna have some problems because you're gonna run into problems getting around this ring right at the beginning, as you saw earlier. All right, so get the screw number 2 out. Yeah, these are so stiff when they're first coming out, because I guess it's because, you know, this they haven't been out since it was first assembled, so it's basically like brand new, cut into plastic. You know, you do this a few times and things get a little easier. All right. There's 3, and then I've got one more down here. Alright, so 4 screws are out. Now you have to remove this control board. So, but I'm going to warn you, what's going to happen is when you do that, this spring is going to get out of position. So just be mindful of that. Alright, so take the control board out. Boom. And there it is. Control board is out. And guess what else came loose? Your switch. Alright, so this is what I do. Grab your new switch. Well, I was going to say, keep it oriented right. But if this ends up falling out and you're like, oh, I don't remember how it goes back in, just remember that the flex cable, you can see the switch right there. Remember, the flex cable kind of goes to the center of all this. So, you know, it's not going to go that way. It's not going to go this way. It's going to go this way, and you'll see the holes that it lines up with. So that's the way it's supposed to go in there. So, get my new switch. And I hope this one works as good as the one I put in yesterday, because that one works just like phenomenally. Yeah, I'm planning on a little down the road getting a Quest 3. And then I'm going to be giving this Quest 2 to my little boy. And so I'm swapping this out now. This is the old one. It's going over here. This is the new one. It's going in. And if you end up accidentally getting them mixed up, this is what I noticed is the original one has like numbers printed on the back of it. And the one I got from Amazon, it's definitely a little different looking. So, yeah, if, you know, just make a note of how the original one looks, because there's definitely a difference in appearance on the back side. It doesn't seem to affect it functionality wise though. Alright, so yeah, put this over here out the way. We're done with that one. New switch is in, and we're gonna start putting it back together. Alright, so yeah, check it out. These are actually the A, B, X, Y buttons. That's what they look like on the circuit board. You see that? Kind of cool. And I'm trying to get my that's my Oculus button. Kind of popped off there, but I'm gonna see if I can get it back in straight and everything. Yeah, this is gonna be a little tricky getting back together, so bear with me. Alright, so you know what I'm gonna do? It looks like this only goes in one way on here, so that's what I'm gonna do. That's gonna make things a whole lot simpler. Alright, putting the circuit board back in. You can see it's cut out for the thumb switch, so just kind of guide it in there. You see you got the spring right there that actually goes to it goes to this metal plate right here. It basically is a conductor going to this pad, which is actually a switch, believe it or not. Yeah, you can touch it in some games, and you know, like sometimes you can touch that and you actually like make a fist, or you or instead of having your thumb stick out, it brings your thumb in. And I think it's used on UEVR for some functions. So be mindful of that. You don't want to damage that spring, because you may get some use out of that. Make sure you got it into that hole real good. And this is going to be a little tricky here, because I got to get that flex cable. Okay, yeah, just get the flex cable on top, but you want the switch, the holes. Wait a minute. Yeah, you want the switch holes up under the circuit board, because the same screws hold both down, but it works better with the the holes for the switch under, and you gotta get all these little flex cables back up over it, back up over the circuit board. So, all right, so there we are. It's back in position, pretty much. And it looks like my flex cable has already tried to plug itself in there, so that's a good thing. So let's get our oh you know what, I messed up because I pulled out my other buttons. I gotta get my A and B buttons back in too. So, yeah, they only go in one way. Yeah, I just, I was having fits with this. Oh, remember that spring? You gotta make sure you get it right there. You can see an outline of where it goes, and you just want to make sure that it's sticking out the front, kind of doing like that. I don't know if you can see it, but that's how it's going to be. You want that spring on there just like that. So let's get the I'm gonna bend this flex cable up just a tad, and alright, so all my buttons are in now, and get that switch back on, get the spring back in position. Yeah, it's kind of it's a lot to keep up with all at once, but you know, once you do it, it's really worth it. Alright, so apologies if you can't see what I'm doing here. It can be a little bit of a pain. I had it pretty good until I realized that my buttons weren't in there. So this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take this out. I'm gonna put my circuit board in. I'm just gonna make this easy for me. Put the circuit board in. I'll lay that down. Make sure the spring is in the right position. Connectors are out the way. Just let it drop into position. Now we're going to take our new switch, and I'm going to slightly raise that circuit board so I can get it under there. There we go. Alright, everything is in position. Nothing's connected. Flex cables aren't connected yet, but everything is in position. So while I've got a nice, and you'll see I got the spring doing that deal, so that's good. That's real good. So I'm gonna set that right there. Start putting screws in. The first ones I'm going to put in are going to be the ones that hold the control board and the thumbstick down. So you're going to need to make sure that's positioned right so that you can see through there to get the screws in, and just feed it on through. If you've got it straight, just like that, it should screw right in. I'm just going to start it for right now because I just want to get it. I want to make sure that it doesn't come loose for any reason. So if I sneeze or something and I end up knocking into this, I don't want stuff getting all out of whack again and, you know, having to spend all that time on it. Alright, got one there. And one here. Yeah, so everything's started now, so I'm gonna go ahead and crank these down. You know, you don't get them super tight. You don't ever. You're basically just you're screwing into plastic, so you just want to get it to when you feel the resistance, like you've bottomed out, just let it go. You don't want to He-Man any of this stuff. If you watch my video where I installed the Corsair all-in-one cooler, I said some stuff about He-Man and stuff. Yeah, with this kind of stuff, and really just about anything, you don't want to get all He-Man on it. You're not impressing anybody. In fact, you're probably going to piss somebody off. So don't be that guy. Or lady. Yeah, people will stop inviting you to parties and they'll start calling you bad names. So yeah, don't be that guy. All right, so I got the 4 screws in. Control board is solid. Thumbstick is in there good and solid. You can see on that side, it's in there. It's pretty much ready to roll. So we are going to probably going to be hooking all the connectors back up. So yeah, let's do that. Starting with, you can pretty much use your finger and do the antenna. Just get it lined up. Get the top part lined up with the bottom part. It pretty much just clips on. So just give it a little push. Yeah, and you'll feel it. It kind of rolls on. And then this end down here, just give it a little push, it goes on there real easy. So this is a ground, and that's the main antenna connection. So get those connected real good. That's the thing. You want everything connected good. You don't want to have to go back. You do not want to tear this thing apart again. I'm telling you that right now, as I think I'm like almost an hour into this, and yeah. You will have to spend another hour or so disassembling this again if you don't hook something up right. So yeah, just be mindful. First thing I'm going to do is connect my thumbstick. And this one is, I keep using the word tricky, but this one really is. It's hard to see. I know it's hard to see for you guys because you're watching me on a video, but you really got to work it in there. You can see, give it a little light. You can see how the end of the flex cable kind of overlaps with the top of the switch, or the top of the connector. I'll pull it back so you can see. So what you're going to be looking for is to connect that into the side, and you want it to go in far enough to where I don't know if you noticed, but that cable laid flat. So when it's connected right, that cable is going to lay flat just like that. And when you get it there, you can lock in that lever. So I'm going to lock it in, and after you do that, you should not be able to lift that out. Yeah, see that you got some tension there. That means it's connected. So yeah, I thought I'd give you that tip because yeah, that one definitely had me a little nervous. The rest of them are easy. Like I said, they got those little white lines that tell you how far they are, how far they're connected in there. So connect that one up, flip that one over. Oh, flip it down. Yeah, flip it down. And then connect that one. That one. make sure that if it's supposed to be, you see little holes on the flex cable, make sure that that stuff ends up on the little pegs that it's supposed to be on, and then just connect the end of your flex cable there. And I just gotta say this, I hate flex cables, but with small electronics like this, that's about all you have is flex cables. They got them in iPhones, they got just about every small electronics has flex cables, so yeah, it's just something I gotta get used to, I guess. Alright, so antenna's hooked up, thumbstick's hooked up, everything going to the ring is hooked up, and our spring is in a good spot. Now we are going to put this part of the handle on, because we need to hook it into this connector, the battery circuit. We got to hook into this connector right here. So you'll see there's notches on this part. Oh, there's notches right here. There's notches right there. So those two parts fit together. You got 2 notches there, you got 3 notches there. The 2 notches here hook into the 3 notches there. Yeah. Can't get much more simple than that. I do have to say, you know, sometimes there is genius in simplicity. Alright, so it's just a little tricky getting that part on and the other part. And it's tricky getting this connector hooked in all at the same time. So I think yesterday I ended up hooking the flex cable up before I physically connected the this part up, which I will say, just be careful when you do that, because you know you do run the risk of breaking that flex cable if something comes flying apart. I just found that it was a whole lot easier to connect it. Oh, look at there, it just fell into place. It just fell into place, and that's basically it. Yeah, it just fell into place. Yeah, it just works a lot better for me to do it that way. So you can see the battery circuit is connected into. Let's see if we can get a little light on that. Yeah, all that's connected up now. All right. All right, now we are going to put the trigger back on, which is not too bad. Just be careful while you're doing it. You're going to want to take the ends of your springs there, you know, the parts that are doing like that, just like that. You want to feed those into the trigger. I'll show you, just like this. Just feed them in, and then you want to line up all your holes. That's all your holes that the pin went into. You remember that pin? Remember that? Yeah. And then you just get the holes lined up and feed the pin through. Yeah, it's if you can get it lined up good. Get it lined up and push it through. Yeah, I was having a little trouble there. Yeah, just guide it as much as you can. I'm pushing through with my thumb. So once I get it that far, I'm going to take my T5 tool and I'm just going to push down on. I'm going to kind of hold it like this so that I can kind of keep it together, and just push down That's not working too well. Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, just give it just enough to get it through there. That's all. Yeah, that's being a little tough. Yeah, don't rush through it. Basically. Yeah, let's try this. Something's not lined up right. That's what it feels like. Well, I'm gonna take that screw and I'm gonna work it out. Try again. You know, maybe that spring isn't lined up right or something. Yeah, you know, it's basically the name of the game is don't force it, because if you force it, it's gonna go bad. It's gonna be real bad. So, and in fact, I think I might have got this a little cockeyed. So. Oh, and check this out. You can actually see the springs here. Sorry. You can see the springs here, and you can see if the pin is going into them. So I think that's the problem I'm having, is the springs are, the pin is not going into the spring good. All right. I think this is working. All right, now I'm going to finish it. Get in there. I swear I did not have this much trouble with it yesterday. It looks cockeyed. Gonna work this out again. Yeah, and if at first you don't succeed, I'm not gonna say, well, try again, but come at it a different way. So I am going to, I'm gonna put it in from this side this time. Because that was not working, not a bit. Oh, and it went in perfect. It went in perfect. Sweet. Alright, so let me just double check. Everything here is connected. What's kind of cool is, if you look right here, right there, at the bottom of that, right there, there's actually a there's a magnet that comes in contact with the control board. So that trigger, that magnet is effectively hitting a Hall effect sensor, which is cool. Anyway, that's just some trivia for anybody that's into electronics. most everybody else won't understand what I'm talking about. But anyway, let's move along. So our trigger is on. Check it out. It triggers. Yay! And next we're going to put on. I think we're putting on this piece. No, this piece. Get off of there. This piece. Alright, so you're going to want to kind of go around it like that. And just work it on there. You can see little pins that are sticking out right there. You want to line those up and click it in. And look at that. Look at that. We're getting there. We are getting there. Alright, now we're going to put this piece back on. So yeah, just like the other stuff. I will say this, you're going to have to kind of hold this apart right there, because this piece right here has to get between two posts. One is on this part, one is on this part, and you got to kind of hold it apart there to get that on there. And then once you screw everything down, everything will it'll hold together real good. Yeah, it's like everything, you know. I keep saying tricky, but that's the best term. Yeah, so see, I just got on there. You just gotta work it on there right. That's all. All right, so as you can see here, we're now physically we're about 80% there. We're about 80% there. All right. All right, let's put in, I'm gonna put in that little screw that went there first. You know, the one that I said that the guides that I had looked at did not mention. That's one of the reasons why I end up making my own videos, because, you know, I know that my video probably doesn't have some of the best camera footage because I'm kind of limited on my equipment and stuff, but if I've got a good tip in there, I'm going to share it, and that is definitely a good one, because I can totally see somebody breaking their controller because they didn't take out that screw. And because it tells you in that step that you gotta snap it. You gotta snap like three different things, snap it apart 3 different places. And you know, if you're just like prying on it and praying that it just snaps apart and doesn't break, and you just keep going, it's definitely gonna break. All right. Now, all right, so I got my sorry, I got my 3 screws in here, and I got that one in there. So all that is ready to go. That handle is on good and solid now. So next thing to do. Oh, and don't worry about that that battery label we took out. You're not going to need that. All right. Now we're going to put back in. Remember Mr. Extra Long Screw? Yeah, Mr. Extra Long Screw goes in right here in the 5 o'clock position compared to the thumbstick. So we're going to put that in. Yeah, I was trying to play some Skyrim earlier, and it just when you just start turning unexpectedly, it kind of messes you up combat wise. Okay, the longer black screw goes right here. It's kind of an oddball. And I also encourage you, um, you know, I work on a lot of equipment, fix a lot of stuff. Take pictures. Pictures are wonderful. I was working on stuff back before they had camera phones, and camera phones are the best invention ever made for people that fix things, because you can take pictures of, you know, um, where things go. We used to have to draw pictures and get real creative, and you know, taking pictures just makes life so much easier. And it's nothing to take a picture, so you know, you can snap 100 pictures if you want to. If it saves you an hour, it was totally worth it, and then you can just delete them if you want to, or keep them if you want to have something to look back on for whenever you do the next thing. All right, so I'm putting in the screw that's at 11 o'clock, 2 o'clock, and 3 o'clock. Well, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, whatever that is, and 3 o'clock. Alright, you don't want to put all your screws back in yet, because some of them hold this ring on, and we haven't done that step yet. So I think those are particularly the ones that go in the top here, and probably that one too. Yeah, so, oh, and probably, yeah, all the ones that like face into the ring. I guess that's a good rule of thumb. All the ones that face into the ring are the ones that are going to do that. So, alright, so we got those screws back in. Let's see, the black, I'm just double checking. Got the black screw in, 11 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 3 o'clock, and 5 o'clock. Alright, next. We're going to put the controller ring back on. Yay, it's starting to feel like it's just about over, doesn't it? Yeah, so I'm going to do this in reverse order, and I'm going to, well, let's do this. Let's just put the whole thing. You want to make sure that the split is on this side, because that little square, you see that square right there, has got to fit in that little square notch right there. You can see, yeah. So just get it on there to where it's nice and on there cozy. Fit it on there nice and good. That's not going to work. I think we're going to have the notch in first, and then, yeah, I think we're going to have the notch in first. And then push, yeah, there we go. Okay. Alright, so put the notch in first, and then just kind of work it down to the other end. Alright, so now let's put, you see how I'm progressively going this way with my screws, and I've got them separated. That's my little system. So the next screws we're going to put in are the screw here. I don't know. Yeah, you can see there and there. Those are the little bit longer 2 remaining screws that are left. And then twist those best you can, because all of these, like I said, are going to be they're going to be the screws that they're like angled into the ring, so that's why we need our little stubby so we can fit in there. Put that one in. Yeah, as you can see, it's I'm gonna use that word again. Tricky. Tricky. Alright. Those screws are in. Now the final two, which are this screw and this screw. Getting nervous that I'm going to drop these screws and never find them again. Like, I'm tempted to yank the carpet out of this room just because I'm always working on stuff in here, and I have lost so many iPhone screws in here. You would just not believe how many screws how many little tiny iPhone screws I've lost that are sitting in the bottom of this carpet, and they're so small you can't even feel them when you walk on them. Yeah. I just hate, like, I just feel like I'm gonna break something, you know, like no matter how much I've done this before and everything, I always feel like I'm gonna break something. So if you ever feel like that, you're not the only one, and with good reason, because all this cheap plastic stuff does break a lot. So a little caution goes a long way. All right, so check it out. I would advise, push your buttons, make sure that everything feels right. And more than likely, if everything feels right, it's probably put together right. If you connected all the flex cables properly and all that, you should have a good working controller. You should. Alright, so I'm going to put my upper thumbstick piece on. Yeah, and as you see, I can probably hear it. Yeah. I can click it, and it's clicking good. I'm going to put the faceplate on. Just guide it over the top of the thumbstick. The hole is just a tiny bit bigger than the top of the thumbstick, so it will go through there. And then just line it up real good and just start pressing down. You should not have to force it. Just push down, just kind of push down on it easily. Make sure that the faceplate is flush with this, and then make sure that your buttons all push right. And then pop your battery back in. Look at that. It's alive. Yeah, see? Even got a light on. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. Yeah, hopefully everything works out. here is the controller, and yeah, it's working. Yeah, so yeah, hopefully I got a good night of VR ahead of me. Gonna be playing some more Hubris, some more Skyrim. I pretty much quit playing earlier because I got so aggravated with that controller. But if I got a new Switch in there, I should be having some good gaming going on later on. So keep your fingers crossed for me, and I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope it helps you guys out there, and it'd make me very happy if it did. And if you liked the video, if you could hit like and subscribe and all that good stuff. If you don't like the video, let me know why. You know, am I boring? Do I suck? Whatever, you know. Yeah, just talk to me. I'd love to hear from you. Anyway, hope you have a good rest of your day or night, whatever the time might be where you're at, and we'll see you next time. Bye.